So it's time for another sprint zone, 817, and we're rolling into the stop sign from County Road 5. It's a pretty good group today. We're checking out the back of the pack here, and this is where I think Ilka drops her water bottle or some such. Not quite certain what happened here, but you'll see the water bottle, and you'll see, I believe, Ilka was the first one to turn around to go get it. This allowed for some time for us to chill and regroup and to be aware of some group awareness here. Not everybody was, but we called for the stop, and a proper stop it was this time at the intersection. Everybody's feeling good. It's a big group, and apparently Ilka is back, and it is time to start the contest. JVP hasn't been out for a while, wearing the old school colors. Good to see him back, looking strong. We have maybe a new rider. I think Tim, one of the guys in blue or something back there, he tried to introduce himself, but I missed it. In any case, we'll have to get that squared away. Anyway, so here's the big move of the day. Matthew Michaels just takes off from Jump Street, and to my horror, there's not a single flipping reaction from the group. I'm like, what the shit, people? This is dangerous. In fact, it's game over right here. But I don't know what was going on. Were people waiting for me to go and do something? In any case, another thing that horrified me is that JVP yelled, "Let him go." Like, what the shit? Let him go? Clearly, he's not watched my videos because it's like game over and it's like second place. Horrified, horrified, horrified. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't go. So I got state mountain bike championships coming up on Saturday, so I did not want to extend myself. But I saw this move coming. I might have died trying to get on his wheel, but I wasn't going to do that. So finally, we sort of get kind of organized, but it's like, I don't know. Um, I don't know. The place is rather pedestrian. And I talked to Rick. So Rick was sitting out in the wind, and I was giving him shit. Dude, you're out in the wind. And I don't recall what kind of power I was putting out at this point, but it's like it wasn't trivial. And we need big engines if we're gonna even try to bring him back, which is a futile effort at this point. We need people fresh and not wasting their energy. So I'm gonna talk about Ilka for a second. So she brings this aluminum bike to the ride, and that's all good. And she sits in, and life is cool. Here's my take on that. If I bought my gravel bike, I'd be saying, yeah, I got a really good workout, but there's no flipping way on my gravel bike I'd be able to contribute to the chase. So in some ways, it's kind of being selfish. But in any case, I digress, and we'll get on with our story. So now it's a race for second place. And the group is looking kind of frisky. Hernan's been at the front, kind of a new guy, pretty strong, kind of leading some of the charge there early on. So JVP is now decided that it is time to go and to maybe do something. And I'm filled with extreme apathy here because I'm like, it's game over. I'm kind of tapering and there's not even a chance. In fact, the only reason I'm really up here is because I have the camera and I just want to film this whole thing. So nobody's coming up yet. JVP's kind of sitting out there. It's a good pace. I'm not throwing out a ton of wattage here, but I'm content to just kind of sit there. Now, if it was the normal me, I would be at the front, throwing out a bunch more watts, trying to create a selection at this point. But like I normally say, who cares about second place? And that's where we are. It's like second place. And for those of you who aren't aware, Michael Matthews, his FTP is like in the mid 300s. At no point in our time can remember our group holding mid 300 wattage at any point, which means he's gone. Gone, gone, gone. So I know a lot of these people don't like to race and don't understand it, but I do, and I like tactics, and I'd like to have a chance. Anyway, so JVP calls for the regrouping or the rotation, and it's like, okay, I'm kind of sitting in, and I look around, and I'm like, nobody is following Dean and Joel. Thank you. And we look back, and basically it's a bunch of people that probably could contribute at some point, but are just waiting. So, like, Curtis has a lot of horsepower back here. He might be the strongest guy in the group. But I'm going to fill myself with some hubris here, and I think I'm actually stronger than Curtis is this year. Yeah, that's right. I said it. You can take that to the bank. But in any case, he's not up here yet doing any sort of, contribution to the chase. I mean, obviously he will later, but at this point it's game over, and he's kind of saving himself. So I could pick a pecking order at this point of who I think is like the strongest back here. Probably Dean, maybe myself. Joel's probably stronger than I am, not as tactically savvy. And then Curtis and I are probably pretty close. Then JVP. Ilka's riding like hella strong. Um, but a lot of it's like confidence to be able to go out there and extend yourself a little bit. So, uh, that being said, Greg's riding pretty strong too. So we're looking at the pack. People are kind of sitting in, and you can see that there's really no discomfort in the group. Everybody is pretty much content to try to just like suck wheel, and there's been like no attacks because it's for like second place. Ian comes off doing a nice job. Thank you, Ian, for some contribution up there. And I'll state for the record, Ilka, you're probably stronger than Ian, so you could probably have contributed there and come back in. I've seen the efforts on the Soar and the War ride, so you can hide, but you can't run. Anyway, I shouldn't be picking on Ilka that way. So, but there's nothing else really to talk about here. So I'm looking at the pack. Everybody's there. There's no real great selection. People are falling off. I think maybe Hernan fell off right there at that point. Maybe sitting over a little too much to the right side. The shelter, as you can see, is like off to the left. And you see the slight echelon there that the savvy riders had taken advantage of. A lot of people haven't, aren't that savvy, or don't have that subtle feel for like what's going on. Uh, Excellent, Greg. Thank you for your contribution up front. So we're looking back, and I'm actually feeling pretty comfortable this whole time, trying to save myself. Um, is it easy? No. Is it super hard? No, because I'm usually like extending myself, trying to make something happen. Dean looking good. The selection, of course, is probably, slowly happening. Joel getting his little drink. And you're keeping pace, and a lot of people are there. Curtis has like come to the front, obviously, and done his little pull. And so now it's like game on, and everyone that's anyone is pretty much engaged that is in the selection at this point. So I think I'm up front. Yeah, I'm up front, and I'm really trying not to throw a lot down because it's like futile. I'm super happy that like Dean comes to the front, then Joel, they're the people that are animating things, and there's John finally going to come up. Looks good. We got Greg and we got Ilka. Looks like Rick back there, and then JVP. And I can't see who that is kind of stringing off the back. Not quite certain how that person got separated. Maybe that's the new guy or whatever. But I love that shot here with a perfect like slight echelon. People know what time it is right there, and it's good. So Curtis looking pretty strong. And I'm looking at Curtis's jersey and compared to some of the Rio and other like team kits. And I see the flapping in the wind. Like that club cut like just doesn't get it. If you guys are in this group, everyone's pretty fit. If you have a choice, get yourself a race cut jersey because it makes a difference. And you see like when Curtis is going to the front, that stuff just flapping in the wind. That's wattage. Serious wattage. Okay, maybe not serious wattage, but we're probably talking about maybe 5, 6 watts right there. And over time, that can add up. So it looks like we're like heading up towards like near the final sprint. We'll see who's still here. Greg, everyone, and it looks like, yeah, that last little push hopefully perhaps ejected a few people, but nope, people are still there. Ilka hanging in, Curtis hanging in. Hopefully Curtis will get in front of Ilka, and I believe he does. I'm glad that the people are giving respect now to the men that are doing work, or should I say the people that are doing work, and allowing them into the line to continue. Because there's almost nothing worse than like doing your hard pull and then going back 10 riders, and yeah, you're in the draft or whatever, but when stuff's ready to go down, you're out of position, or you're stuck behind the group, the gatekeeper, who is like not doing any work, and then you have to jump around if you want to contribute. Not very efficient. So glad to see that that's happening. So ramming and thumping up here. Joel doing really good work. Greg looking strong up here. I'm up here only because I have the camera. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, should I save myself? Okay, it's Tuesday, and I'll probably have enough time to recover. And even Greg's jersey, not quite um, club or team cut, so a little bit of wattage lost there, but it doesn't look horrible. So now it is the final selection, and Curtis goes to the front. Let's see who's going to follow him, and it looks like it's me. So this is the, I think one of the final sprints or whatever, and I was kind of just like sitting in, kind of content to like be happy, but I had the camera and well, okay, I won't drop off just yet. Ilka looking strong there, a little flapping. Also, get yourself a team cut jersey, just making a statement, not a judgment. Now, looks like Dean going to the front, and there's some wattage being thrown down now, And I love when Dean comes to the front when I'm not suffering because he throws down enough wattage and there's enough of an acceleration that those that were barely hanging on are no longer barely hanging on. And you can see Joel has had enough. Curtis is going to cover that gap. I'm going to cover Curtis's gap just because I want to be there with the camera and I've got like horsepower and it's almost near the end. So I'm like sitting in behind Curtis and he stands up and I was going to let him have it, but my prey drive kicked in. So I was like, oh, if you're going to stand up, I'm going to just take this one, even though it was for second place. So I get this one. JVP comes in third. He was way too far back. He should not have been back behind like Ilka, because he did some work up front. So there should be, some savvy there of like going around, but I'm not certain how gassed he was. Anyway, a good time was had by all. Matthew Michaels, I can't say enough. That was a brilliant move. Actually, it's probably like taking candy from children now. Um, you get your golden ticket to go to TTH on a regular basis. Not that you weren't anyhow, but I would seriously consider doing some road racing if I were you, because that was like badass. Um, yeah, well done. So we're cooling down. Everybody's chatting, about whatever. It was fun. Um, can't say enough about how fun that ride was. I kind of wish I had almost gone with Matthew on that attack or realized it quicker. If I was fresher, I definitely would have died trying, but it is what it is. So, next time.